Hi and welcome back. Today is our superficial backline elasticity day. For class, you will need 2 blocks. We will start in tabletop. As you come into your tabletop, we're just beginning our class today with that transverse abdominal work with our breath. So on your inhales, allowing your belly to really drop down. Your back stays pretty neutral. Just all of your muscles in your belly are allowed to expand. Drop your organs. And on your exhales, pulling everything, that whole shield, back up in towards your spine. Taking a few more of these rounds of breath. The ability to relax through the transverse ab is just as important as the ability to really pick it up. So notice how far you can drop your belly. Take one more of those rounds of breath. And we'll meet in our downward dog, the shortened version of downward dog that we learned last week in our mobility class. Pressing down into your heels, lengthening your legs as much as possible, and thinking about lifting up through your toes. You can walk your downward dog just a little bit shorter here than you usually do. And taking some breath. Holding onto this, really activating through your toes, really pressing up through the back of your knees, your hips. And staying here for several more breaths. Keep that activation going. If you have discovered in your yoga classes that down dog can be a rest pose, this is not the version of it that is restful. It's definitely hard work. And 2 more breaths. And drop your knees down to the mat. Take a breath here. On your exhale, lift up your knees just about 2 inches up off of the mat. And take a breath here. We're going to be swinging back into our downward dog. Weight into the heels right away with the exhale. Inhale back to that hovering tabletop. Exhale, swing back. Good. 3. Pushing into your heels, pushing into your legs as you come here. And just when you bend back into that tabletop, feel your back line kind of catch you before you drop down and help pull you back into downward dog. Good. 5, 4, nice fluid motions, nothing jerky. 3, 2, 1. And walk your hands back. Coming into our forward fold here. Straighten your legs, pick up through your belly. Think of the transverse abdomen exercise that we just did. Placing a little bit more weight in your heels, rounding so that your head is coming towards your knees. And with your exhales, really pressing your transverse ab up towards the ceiling as you round forward. Take your arms back behind you, kind of like a halfway lift arms, but your spine is still very, very round. Even tuck your chin right in towards your chest. Keep emphasizing your transverse ab here. 2 more breaths. And place your hands down, walk your hands out back into tabletop. Bring your right hand to the base of your head. Start to lift up your left leg, bend your knee, press your heel towards the ceiling. Now think about your abdomen here. Remember, you're pressing up away from the mat. not only to lengthen your back and lengthen the superficial back line, but also just to protect your spine. On your exhale here, or inhale here, excuse me, you're going to bring your elbow toward your knee, towards your foot, and then back down. So we're not bringing elbow and knee together underneath us, just these little pulses up and down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, feel that back line work, 3, 2, and 1. Calm down, switch sides, left hand goes behind your head, right knee bends up and in. Take just a breath here, make sure that you've got lots of stability happening in your arm and knee, and then start those pulses, pulling through your back. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Put your hand and your knee down. Come back in towards your downward dog. The straight feet again, or straight legs again. Feet, toes are picking up off of the mat. Long breath. Think about stretching your tailbone up and back behind you and away from your hands. So think about if I had a measuring tape at the base of your hands and up at your tailbone. Can you just make your tailbone just a little bit further? Stretch out past where you already were on that measuring tape. Press through your knees. And walk your hands back towards your feet. Come very, very slowly up to standing. Bring your hands by your sides. Just taking a moment here. And just like we did yesterday in our superficial front line, we're taking a little sway here. So ground your feet down onto the mat, anchor your body, and think about your body being one long board. And whereas yesterday we rocked forward, today start leaning back, maybe even lifting your toes up off of the mat. And notice I want you this first time to lift your toes, lean back until you kind of fall and step back. So we know that's your edge, that's your catch point. So now see if you can lean back and right before you fall, kind of snap yourself forward. Snap might be a little bit of an abrupt word there, but just hitting that little straight line edge and coming back in. And just notice, just as I did, if you fall once or twice, if you go a little too far, that's fine. Just want you to feel this back line working from your calves all the way up to the crown of your head. And stop that rocking, keeping your legs straight. Start to tuck your chin into your chest and begin to roll down into that rounded forward fold. Coming through a cat pose spine. Hands at halfway lift. Seeing how close towards your legs you can get, your knees with your forehead. All right, and here we're going to do some quick breathing. On your exhales, pick up your transverse ab just like we do in the tabletop down on the floor, but we're making it a little bit quicker. Rounding with every exhale. Three more. And release down. Place your fingertips down on the mat. Your legs are going to stay very, very straight still. But maybe just lengthen out your spine. Press your tailbone behind you. Good, and bringing your hands back in, rounding up, finding that round spine. Arms in that halfway lift. And we're doing that same thing again, picking up of the transverse ab with your exhales for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. And come all the way slowly up to standing. I really suggest halfway lift first. It's a lot of breath work. A lot of forward folding, a lot of blood in your head. Stand right here. Take your right leg and lift it up into a victory pose. Now this leg is straight today, so as low as it or high as it can be. And just notice with yourself, as you lift your leg, do you tend to lean backwards? If you do, I want you to lower your leg and catch yourself from leaning backwards with the strength of the back line that we're working on. Point your toe here just for a moment and then flex your foot up towards the ceiling. Gently, very, very slowly lower your foot to tap your heel down onto the mat and lift it up. Very slowly lower, feel your back line kind of catch it on its lower and lift it back up. Good, inhale low, exhale together. Just 2 more of those. Good, this time bend into your left knee, place your right foot down, heel stays down, and come onto your fingertips. So your right leg is straight here. We're in kind of a modified pyramid pose. Toes are still pressed up towards the ceiling. And just breathing here. Notice that over time, maybe you tend to lose that flex in your front foot. Just check in with it every couple of breaths and see if you're still flexing long. One more breath. Step your feet together. Sink your weight down, lift up your heels, and stretch through your toes. So you're sitting on your heels here. Your fingertips are just there for a little bit of support. And go ahead and press your heels down towards the mat. Lengthening through your Achilles tendon, your calf, and your foot in just a different way. And place your heels down onto the mat, stand all the way up. Take your left foot, send it out in front of you for your victory pose. Once again, checking on the height of your spine here. If we're thinking about back line through this one leg, we're just lengthening the back line from the heel all the way up to the crown of the head. And so that's going to affect, just like it does when we're on the floor, it's going to affect you here. But now also we've added some strength to it. Instead of just pressing your leg against the floor and leaning as close to it as possible, you're actually having to hold it up. All right, on your next inhale, slowly lower down. Feel the back line resist that lower. Inhale, lift up. Slowly lower. Up. Lower. 2 more. Lower. Last one. This time lower into that pyramid. A little bit of stability on the way down. Finding breath, finding some calm. Yet still working through your toes. Several more breaths here. and step your feet together. Once again, that toe stretch. Lift your heels up as high as possible. Sit down. And place your heels down onto the mat. Might even curve your spine forward here. Come down to your knees, grab onto your 2 blocks, place them by your sides. They can be at any height that you end up needing them at, including just taking them away and using the floor. Take your right foot forward, coming into just as much of a split as you're able to do. So whatever that means for you, but we're not sinking down all the way. Keep your back foot tucked under. And I want you to stay like a little bit out of this so that you're able to pick yourself up and lower down. So if you are all the way dumped into your split and you need somebody to help pull you out, you have no strength there, then back off like 10 or 20%. So coming into whatever version of the split you're in right now, on your exhale, lower down. On your inhale, lift yourself back up. And we're doing those bounces for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come in, draw your leg in, take your left foot forward for that same modified split. And I did forget to say it on the other side, but if you were watching the video, we're keeping our back toes tucked under. Your back knee is going to be lifted for this whole sequence to enable you to really lift and lower. So hands right underneath your hips, checking in, making sure that you're in a place where you are able to move. And exhale down, inhale up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bringing your foot in, taking your right foot forward again, because we have another round on each side of these. And this is part of the reason that we did the front line yesterday, is that we've worked this front line of the back leg. Today we're working the back line of the front leg. So toes tucked under, go ahead, lift your knee, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back into center. Sending your left foot forward. Awesome. Tucking your back toes. Lifting your back knee. Last set. Last one. 10, 9. Feel that strength on the way up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back in, shake out your arms a little bit. Drop your blocks to either side. Sit down with your feet in front of you. And cross your left foot over your right foot, over your right leg. Take your hands to your shoulders. Familiar pose from last week. Start to bring your right elbow in towards your left foot. Really using transverse ab to lift up through your back, through your belly. It might not be a big movement. If you're watching the video, it might not feel like a big movement, but just continuously pressing abdomen up towards the spine and hollowing out the back. Few more breaths. And come up. Go ahead, switch legs. Hands to shoulders. When you're ready, with an exhale, start to fold yourself forward and pull that line long from directing your elbow down towards your foot. A few more breaths. This is it. This is your last push. Come all the way up and out. Take your block, bring it right behind you, setting up for our fish pose to counter ourselves today. Resting your block right in between your shoulder blades and resting right down on it. And I do suggest for right now, just keep your legs a little bit bent. Let your lower back kind of relax down. And taking some really big breaths. Notice your belly rise and fall. We've been working with transverse abdomen and belly breath pretty much through all of our classes in different ways. So just noticing how it's going for you right now. Spending just a little bit more time here. Start to tuck your chin back up. Come off of your block and begin to settle yourself down for your Shavasana. As always, taking the amount of time here that you need, that serves you. Thank you for coming to class today. Thank you for doing this challenge, for dedicating yourself to your practice. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. I honor the light in you. Namaste.